Hey everybody, Coach Grant from Fusion Flow Coaching here. I hope you're having a great day. Today we got the whiteboard out. We're going to be talking about that gap between stimulus and response and how to widen it so that you can react in your most authentic self. This is the one single mindset hack that completely changed how I experienced life over a decade ago. And it's when you get to choose to live in a beautiful state no matter what. Stick around. All right, so today I'm bringing out the whiteboard for the first time. This is a first on this channel. So I'm pretty excited. As you can see, I love taking notes, writing things out. My artwork isn't going to be the greatest, but it's the principles and the ideas that's important, right? So what I'm going to talk about today is a concept called, well, I don't really have a name for it, but it's about controlling the gap, right? There's this gap right here. And right here could be outside events. And over here, you have you. Beautiful nose, beautiful neck, there we are. And what I want to argue today is that a lot of the times we think that our thoughts, our emotions are just things that happen to us and that we have to sort of just kind of deal with or accept. But I'm going to be here today arguing that we have complete control over how we feel, how we think, and how we act. This is about taking personal responsibility for your own emotional state. So in outside events, you know, say somebody cuts you off, something you like, maybe album, you desire, whatever. These are things that happen on the outside world. And a lot of the times we don't have control over what other people do, what other people say, the weather, the outcomes of things. All we can do is control our own effort, our own thoughts, our own emotions, the meaning we give events. We're going to be talking a little bit today about the gap here. And Dr. David Hawkins, in his book Power versus Force, talked about this gap between stimulus and response. Hey, if you're liking the video, make sure you like and subscribe. Helps the channel grow. We are completely new, so appreciate you. Back to the video. So over here, we have no control. Let's do this in a different color. I don't know if you could see that. I'll do it. No control. Absolute control. I'm fully aware that we all respond out of habit a lot of the times. I don't know about you, but how many times have you walked away from an event, a conversation, an argument, thinking, ah, man, why did I say that? Or why did I act that way? And it's not, incongruent with what's a deeper heart of the matter here, right? When you're acting in alignment with who you are, it's in alignment with your values, your identity, but when you act out of reaction, out of emotion can sometimes, now this will be a good time for the other color, wherever it is. I lost it, it's all good. Emotions can cloud your judgment. If you're in anger, if you're in frustration, the way you're going to respond the gap is also the response is going to be a lot different than if you're calm, collected. So today is about kind of looking at this gap and how we can widen the gap so that we respond truer to our core identity and values. So how do we make this gap? First, a little bit of mindful meditation helps. In the mornings, mindful meditation is just the act of focusing on one thing, usually your breath, and just bringing your focus back to your breath. Bring your focus back to your breath. It's like a muscle. You must do the mental reps to get conditioned for it. Another powerful way to expand this gap in the moment is to breathe. This is supposed to be a breath going in. Deep, deep breath. Before you respond, take a deep breath. And this will just calm your nervous system. The quickest way to change the way you feel is to change the way you're moving your body. Usually when you're stressed out, when you're frustrated, when you're angry, your breathing is going to be shallow. You know, your shoulders are going to be rounded. You're probably going to be higher blood pressure, higher heart rate, sweating, you know, so anything you can do to change that, change your posture. Take a deep breath. Sometimes it's worth it to tell the other person, I just need a moment to think about this. Having certain phrases that give you some space to formulate a response instead of just acting reactionary. Because what happens on the outside, we can't control it. Things are going to happen. Things are going to happen that we don't like, that we would rather them not happen. But nothing on the outside has any meaning to us until we've assigned our own meaning to it. For example, the same event can happen to the same two people, and they can have two completely different meanings attached to that event. And because of the meaning they associate with it, they have a completely different experience of life. This is your experience. And the experience of your life is really determined by the quality of emotions. Emotion is going to have a big part to play in this. That's why separating, making this gap bigger will give you better emotions to deal with whatever you're dealing with. But let's talk about the meaning, right? So we got outside events, we can't control them. This is the stimulus. But when this event happens, what does it do inside of our brain? So here is us again. Kind of looks like Squidward almost a little bit there. Anyways, so the outside events come in. We experience them through our senses, right? Usually our eyes, our ears, however we want to do it, right? Our senses absorb the outside events. What we have to do with this information, because the information alone means nothing until we've processed it in our brain and first gave it a meaning. And whatever meaning you assign to it, you're going to feel. And depending on how you feel, this is going to determine how you experience it. And ultimately, what you do. So, in order to change how you act, how you experience your experience and the emotions it really depends on the meaning that you associate with the event. Guys, if you liked this lesson, this whiteboard lesson, I love teaching this kind of stuff. And this simple decision over a decade ago, Tony Robbins said it, you have the choice to either decide that you're going to live in a beautiful state no matter what. And this is my plea to you today, is to choose to live in a beautiful state no matter what. That doesn't mean that things aren't going to go wrong, that you're not going to go through hard times. You're not going to go through defeat and failure. It means that despite all that, your inner world will remain consistent with what truly matters to you. What you truly love. This is a beaming heart, because when you're living in complete alignment and congruent with what truly matters to you, your values, and I don't know about you, but I don't know many people who want to not live in a beautiful state. Why wouldn't you want to live in a beautiful state? This is you living in a beautiful state, radiating joy. And it doesn't mean you don't get pissed off, you don't get angry, you don't have bad days. It means you don't stay there. It means that you acknowledge it and you bounce back quick. And this is good for athletes, this is good for entrepreneurs, this is good for anybody handling tough situations out there where you need to bounce back quick and you need to not take it personal. Someone else's opinion does not mean it's true. It's literally just their opinion. And when you start to understand that, you don't care about anyone's opinion. And, you know, there's a few opinions that I do care about, my kids, but ultimately, if you let someone else's opinion determine how you feel about yourself, then you're giving power to them. You're essentially saying that their opinion of you is more important than your opinion of yourself. And what that means to me is you haven't cultivated your why, your values, and who you truly are. Because if you've done the inner work to find out who you are, then somebody else could tell you something about yourself, but if you know it not to be true, it's not going to affect you. It's like if somebody told me the sky was purple. I have a lot of evidence in my life that say, you know, it's blue. It's not going to offend me that their opinion is that it's purple. So when you know your truth or a truth, when somebody else has an opinion that goes against that, it doesn't offend you. Instead, you talk to try and understand where they're coming from. And the more you cultivate this gap, the less offended you are, the less hurt you are, and the more joy and happy emotions you live in and experience every single day. Again, guys, if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. I am Coach Grant from Fusion Flow Coaching, and I'll see you on the next one.